Earlier this year in LA, thieves stole $30 million out of a vault, which is now the second biggest heist of this year, after what James Click did to his former employees. Welcome back to the Moonstamp Cast. I'm Brian. I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host, Jordan. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'm ready to talk about sports. We have a lot going on in the sports world and a lot to get to.
Yeah. Hey, 3 weeks ago, all three past episodes, we have been very high up on the Astros up and coming, and this is the first time you and I are coming kind of tails tucked between our legs, thinking, what the fuck, guys? That was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, we literally have a clip out where last week we talked about Yusei, and we were like, well, what are we going to give up? He's not really worth it. I kind of put him in as an afterthought, thinking that, oh yeah, this is just a guy they're linking us to, or the media's linking us to. Never is actually going to come here. So this is just a guy we're going to throw and have a quick talk about and move on. Turns out we have to talk about him a lot more from now on because he's in our starting rotation.
Yeah, before we get into the negative, I'm hoping we're completely wrong with what I'm about to say or what you're about to say about how negative we are about this. But to beat you to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference of the week, when you try and summon a 9 or 10 star monster, it requires 3 sacrifices so you can get a big, bad monster on the field to do as much damage as possible. What we did was we sacrificed 3 monsters and summoned the Celtic Guardian. Serviceable, fine, not gonna win us anything. It's a set piece. It's not a big trade, and to sacrifice 3 of our top 11 prospects, I believe it was number 2, number 5, and number 11.
Yeah, something
for
like that.
A 33-year-old 2-month rental starting pitcher that has a career ERA of 4.56, I believe, or something close to that. Wow. I miss James Click.
Yeah, so I wrote about this on Monday night. And this comes on the heels of the Abreu situation at the beginning of the year where, it took forever to get something done with Abreu. I have now realized, and I said it before and I'll say it again, this new regime I'm going to call it the Bagwell regime, because I think he's like the main stakeholder, no matter how much power Dana Brown pretends he has. This team is now openly antagonistic to the principles that made the Astros great. The Astros from 2014 to 2022 were built on these very solid principles that if you got a call at the trade deadline, there's a reason for it. Now, Dana Brown he basically had from spring training to now to realize, our starting pitching is going to need some help because their guys are going down. Verlander's not going to be there. Everyone and their mother's hurt. And instead, he went into the last moment and got a guy. He couldn't get Flaherty, who, how much did they ask for? Because the Dodgers stole him.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Either they hate the Astros or Dana Brown's the worst negotiator to ever exist. Which is possible because, Bagwell's hand is so far up his rectum that I'm imagining that he's talking for him. But yeah, no, this entire, Bagwell talks about how much he hates computers. Dana Brown doesn't have a soul. Jim Crane just wants to forget that 2017 happened. He's been trying to make up for that for how many ever years, since 2019. 2022 was his final straw to say, new regime, I'm done with that. I don't know what has happened to the Astros, but it's not good. And now we're in this position where we went from 2017 having Justin Verlander at the trade deadline to having Yusei. By the way, I have a Yu-Gi-Oh moment of the week I thought of, and I wanted to use it, but I like yours.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. The main character in Yu-Gi-Oh 5D, his name is Yusei. So I know what the D in 5D stands for now. Don't let him pitch.
Oh. Like I said, I hope we're completely wrong. I hope we look back at this and say we're idiots. This was worth it. Loperfido was the fire. I don't know exactly if it was him, but him being called up when we let go of Abreu turned this whole thing around. He brought electricity. He loved playing for us. I don't know if you saw the little presser he had where they asked him about being traded. It's about 2 minute or 1 minute 20-minute clip, 1 minute 20-minute, 1 minute 20-second clip, and I made it about 15 seconds in before I closed out because I was just angry that this guy obviously loved playing here and was thought that he was going to be, if Tucker bounces, he's going to probably be our right fielder for the future, and we traded him for a 3-month rental of a player that we saw other starting pitchers go for better prices. If we gave it up for the guy in Detroit, I wouldn't have loved this trade, but I would have been a lot more understanding. He was probably the hottest commodity pitching wise, and we go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I think Garrett Croquette, it was probably hotter, but this guy was like 2 or 3 somewhere in there. But yeah, no, I agree.
And some good news. We have our first baseman locked in. Loperfido can play first. We traded him. Dubon can play first, but he's a utility guy. He's not going to play first. John Singleton, a little bit positive spin. That moonshot he hit against the Dodgers over the weekend, I loved it. I love that man. He is the king of bat flips. He hits nothing but piss missiles, hits nothing but nukes, and they're awesome.
He's like a classic first baseman where he's kind of a big boy and he just hits balls hard and far. Not going in there for the singles, he's going to the upper decks. I also love John Singleton because his story both sucks and also rocks. He got suspended for weed, which, say what you want about that, but he got suspended, had to go play everywhere else, and now he's back to the majors after last year's whole debacle in the ALCS with him coming to the plate. So I'm happy to see him doing well. This is a good spin zone. I'm happy that he's here still. I can't say the same thing about everything else that's happening.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if John Singleton bat flipped home run as a walk-off in a playoff game might make Minute Maid explode. Like, actually explode. It would be the most electric thing since the Altuve walk-off home run against name escapes me. He's an abuser anyway, so I don't want to.
Are you talking about Araldis?
Yeah, Chapman.
He pistol whipped a woman.
Yeah,
as Jared Carrabis said. Yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's probably my favorite call in sports history. Was that him just hopping up on that table and just going off for about a minute and a half at the Yankees fans? That made me laugh very hard. I go back and watch that probably every couple months or so just because how off the top ripped it was. It was amazing.
I have it saved too, just because, again, it's a room full of Yankees fans. He's a Red Sox fan. He's just there to make them mad because the Red Sox weren't in the series at that point. So he's there to make them mad, which he did a great job because you see their stupid little faces deflate. Their stupid little New York faces deflate. I mean, you see Altuve and Jared is on the desk. Wonderful moment. I have it saved still. Quickly. I'm going to give a little bit of, okay, maybe it's not the dumbest decision in the world, even though I think it is, but some hope.
Okay.
I think Loperfido had a high strikeout rate.
He did.
And so maybe, he had like 42 or something like that. Bloss was
42% strikeout rate?
Something like that. It was something high. I saw, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember seeing, I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
High.
Yeah, I can look it up. I saw it on Twitter, so who knows if it's real. Bloss was about a year or two from being a solid MLB starter. Not a good, whatever. We could have kept him around, but maybe a year or two. And then Wagner was 26. I don't know if you want to, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Wagner's the one that hurt the least.
Yeah.
He was a second baseman, which means, let's say Altuve plays second base for another, how old is Altuve, 34? Say he plays it for another 4 years. That means we'd be calling up Wagner, best case scenario, at 30 to play second base.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like, hey, I love Billy Wagner. Hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. At the same time, I can do without his son.
Yeah. For me, it was Loperfido hurt the most. Bloss is probably the better player, or the better prospect. Also, starting pitching prospects are amazing because they can develop later in their career, so you can invest more time in them. But Loperfido kind of brought like I said, his call-up really started turning our at least locker room around, and they started believing themselves, and they had a weight off their shoulder. As much as I appreciated Abreu and that he was a very nice guy by all accounts, Loperfido, that whole transaction brought the energy and turned our season around. And now we were said, okay, man, thanks for a couple months. See you later. Off to Canada with you.
Quickly, I looked it up. My information was slightly off on Loperfido. And then MLB, his K rate was 36.4%.
That's still high, man.
That's still high. So that's why that's my spin zone for the moment. Maybe, bring in another guy who can maybe strike out less. With that said, I love the guy. He was part of the post-Abreu renaissance. Everything hurts. This wasn't a good idea. It's a regime that is, again, Bagwell talks about how much he hates computers. They are being actively antagonistic to the things that made the Astros great. Like to the dark arts, as we called it back in the emails. They are being actively antagonistic towards that. And now we're seeing moves like we see, again, the Abreu move, whatever, we'll call it what it is, didn't end well. But their two biggest center points of this regime has been Abreu and now this guy. And I don't like either of those.
I completely. Oh, and we did call up Pedro Leon, which he's been hitting nukes in the minors. But if we really believed in Pedro Leon, we would have called him up over Loperfido to begin with. So This is a band-aid on a gashing wound, I guess, for now. Not gashing wound as in like our team's tanked, but he just felt like he was really part of the heart and soul of this locker room. Like the guys really loved him. The city really loved him. That amazing catch that he had a couple weeks ago. It just hurts. And then we didn't do anything. Well, we traded for the Yankees reliever, who's not great. But besides that, we did nothing. So we're just, I guess our trade deadline accusations. What we get from the trade deadline is Justin Verlander coming back, maybe Garcia coming back. Tucker's
he's gone for real. Like, I don't think he's coming back. I think he's done. That is my conspiracy brain for the day. He's on the 60-day IL.
Well, that's a move that you can do. Like these past days that he's been off count as towards the 60 days as well.
Okay.
So it's not like the fresh new 60 days. Because if it's fresh new 60 days, he wouldn't be back to the playoffs.
I think he's gone. That's my conspiracy brain. I become a pessimist in the past 72 hours.
Same.
I think he's going anyway. But I think he's sitting this out and just letting it ride. Because he's not going to win another ring this year.
I think we're gonna back up the truck for Bregman. I think with his turnaround, like I said, he does this every year. It just took him longer to do it. I think we're gonna back it up, and I think we need to have Bregman stay. I don't know what our options are right now for third base. Outside of that, if Tucker's gonna be a wash, go all in on Bregman. Do it at the same time. Don't wait for Tucker to try and sign because it sounds like he is gone. Go after Bregman, get that done. I mean, don't pay him $300 million, but I just get something done with Bregman because he will absolutely get the money that he wants from another team.
And I mean, to say something about team chemistry, I know Altuve is still here, but it feels like we're slowly and surely losing that whole 2019 lineup. And it's nice to have a guy from the old days with Altuve. Because at some point there's going to be one guy left on the team. It's going to be like that picture of Stalin where all his friends are gone. Have you seen that before? Also,
the only picture of Stalin I've seen is hot Stalin. Hot young Stalin.
Hot, sexy Stalin. That's what we talk about on this podcast. But no, there's a picture of Stalin and it's him with his, three guys, and slowly each new picture has the guy deleted because he killed them. But in this case, it will be they just left for bigger monetary prospects or better baseball pastures. But yeah, no, I'm pessimistic and I'm sad. And I think I said 2 weeks ago maybe that Astros will always pull it out. I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling so strong about this one this year, buddy.
I'm a little nervous. I mean, we're now a game back in the division. That sucks.
Yeah. And I mean, again, we made no move. We made like no moves, but we made no moves. There is nothing that was done. I feel like, and this will tie into our discussion later. I feel like we're the Cowboys, where we didn't do a single thing.
Speaking of, before we get to our AFC East and NFC East preview, you have some Olympic updates for me.
I mean, okay, what do you want to hear about? Because I have so much to talk about.
Give me the Spark Note highlights.
Okay. So swimming, we're not good anymore. We're still good, but like we're not as good as we once were. Probably because Phelps is gone. All of our really good swimmers are a little bit older.
Hold on now. The lady that won by like 17 seconds or some shit.
Yeah, she won her first one today. She got bronze in her other like event.
Oh,
so she's also our age. So she's been around since Rio, I think. She's been 15 since Rio, and maybe it was I don't know. But she's like 27. So that's not going great. Women's gymnastics won, which they should, but they won. Houston resident Simone Biles killed it again.
Queen shit.
What else? What'd you say?
Queen shit.
Queen.
It's a Houston queen, buddy.
That is a Houston queen. She says spring, but it's Houston.
It's Houston.
That is the same thing to me. What else? I mean, it's early in the Olympics, so like the cool events haven't really started yet. Like there's swimming, there's gymnastics, but like there's shooting, there's dumb stuff like that. Men's basketball, who knows what's going to happen? I think Joel Embiid is a French spy. I need to write about that because you know the whole story with Embiid and the French. How he was going to be a French citizen and then stop doing that. I wouldn't become an American citizen.
I didn't know about that.
Okay, so here's what happened. Joel Embiid from Cameroon. I think I read they don't have a team. I don't know. Mm-hmm. He went to I think the French basketball president or someone higher up in the French government and said, I'd like to play for you guys. Give me my passport. Give me whatever you need to give me. I'll come play for you guys. And obviously they were like, cool, because we'll have Wemby. We'll have, I think the plan was like Gobert, Wemby, and then Joel. And that's their team. That's going to win the gold in France because that's, what they won. They won the World Cup in 2018 in France. What a beautiful tie-in will be to win a gold medal in France in 2024. Joel Embiid then said, actually, guys, what the fuck is a kilometer? Rah, rah, rah. And became an American patriot.
I think my fiance's home because the dog's just slammed against the door to get up.
I'm gonna clip that, but not like take out your sound, so it looks like you're just so impressed by what has happened. So he became an American citizen. He said, he's been here since he was in high school. His son is an American citizen. He says he wants to win for his son, but the French will despise him. They hate him. So that's the update for American basketball. We're not good at 3-on-3. Jimmer's not doing great. Colin Jost, I don't know if you know who Colin Jost is. Mm-mm. He's in Tahiti doing surfing. He's an SNL Weekend Update guy. Those are fun hits because he's dying in Tahiti. He can't leave Tahiti right now because he has an ear infection on top of other infections. But yeah, I don't know. There's a guy on TikTok. Apparently, there are these amazing, delicate, decadent chocolate muffins in the Olympic Village Cafe. And there's this Norwegian swimmer whose whole TikTok is now just like sexually touching those muffins. And I say that not as a joke, as like I think he's attracted to them in deviant ways. But they look amazing, and everyone's trying to find where they are. So that's the real Olympic update. We'll have we're also Also, how Google and the Olympics list the medal count is by gold medal, and then based on gold medal, who has the most medal is in first. So China's technically in first now, but Peacock and NBC have that based upon how many medals people have won. Because the U.S. has won the most medals, so we're just in first in American media, which I appreciate.
Well, yeah, it's all about. It's definitely not about gold medals. It's all about just total medals. Third place is acceptable. Welcome to today's American society, baby. It's all about participation.
Listen.
Don't clip this.
I'm not going to clip it. Don't worry. You don't want to. I can't say that. We already get in trouble once. But yeah. So that's my Olympics update. That's Jordan's Olympics update. I should have a theme song for that. I'll have it next week as well. When
Be careful with copyright. The Olympics is crazy with copyright, dude.
Oh no, I'm not touching this. I'm not, because like I saw they won't even let people on Twitter clip it, or like they will post it, and if you repost it, they'll like take it down. It's crazy. I don't. Whatever. It's whatever. I think it's run by a Frenchman, which makes sense.
All right. Well, let's transition to our biggest topic of the day. We got the NFC and AFC breakdowns. First off, do you want me to go through my wild cards? Do you want me to do those now, or do you want me to wait till the end?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're the proverbial host this episode, so you do what you feel.
I'll save
like.
that for the quick ending.
Okay.
Where do you want to start? Quickly? AFC or NFC?
Let's do NFC, because I think AFC is going to be more debatable.
Okay.
So because I remember our picks from last week, I think we had pretty much the same NFC East, and I think our AFC East will be quite different.
Yeah,
so I'm ready to go with that one.
Let's start with the Giants, because I think this might be the worst team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I mean, when your quarterback story last season was the backup quarterback's agent, I don't really know how great you're going to do this season when they also have, I think, more sacks. Last season they had more sacks than any other team by 20.
By 20, I have that.
Oh, we have the same notes, don't we? But yeah, go ahead. You tell me what you think about the Giants, Brian.
The first note I have is they're going to be bad. They are going to be bad. Daniel Jones, I don't know if you saw that clip, missed a very easy pass at training camp, and he threw it behind the receiver that was doing a crossing route, and it did not look good.
Brian,
it was like I am a big not believer in Daniel Jones.
Can you call him by his correct name? It's that's $40 million Daniel Jones.
$40 million for that man. That is reeks of desperation. Their O-line is horrible. Like you brought up, 20 sacks. That's 20 more sacks than the second highest sack rate. That's insane. That's a sack a game extra for an entire season. I don't know if Daniel Jones is. I said I'm not a believer, but it can't all be him. This might be a David Carr situation where you're just getting the shit kicked out of you every game, and you look not great because of it.
Yeah, I don't have hope. I know they brought in a new O-line coach. They brought in some new linemen, and they kept their, I think, left tackle or right tackle and center, who are young guys who were drafted in 22 and 23. I don't know if you want to keep them around. Like, I don't know how coachable they are after a year of that disaster class of an offensive line. They should just bring back Ben DiNucci at this point. At least he was funny. Drew Lock is also his backup, so it's not like you have a guy in the wings who's going to kill it. They lost Saquon and Kelsey Plum's ex. So I just think we're in for a great showing in the worst part. As if New Yorkers are sad, I'm happy. So in a way, we will win.
My last note I have on the Giants is, hypothetically, or if you live in a legal state to gamble, I don't care how big the spread is, take the other team's spread. I don't care if it's minus 22.5. Take it. I think this team might be one of the worst in NFL history.
Which, I mean, maybe an 0-6, 0-17? Maybe an 0-17?
I don't know about 0-17, but because, I mean, they'll probably squeak one out against the Commanders or something, which I expect to be a lot better, but I don't know about it's really fucking hard to go 0-17.
Especially when in the later weeks, you see teams putting in their backups to their backups. But yeah, no, this may be, one of the worst teams we ever. Hopefully they're on Thursday Night Football all the time, because that seems to be where they put the worst teams.
It's beautiful. What was it? Was it the Jets last year without Aaron Rodgers just had all these primetime games and it was just horrible?
I think 2022 they just showed the Broncos all season on Thursday night. And then last season, they just showed the Jets on Thursday night. So really, they just need to pick. Actually, the best way to pick a team that's going to be terrible is to look at who's on Thursday night the most, which is concerning because tomorrow's the Hall of Fame game, which the Texans are on. So they have the first Thursday night game.
No starters on either side, though.
Yeah,
the Bears announced no Caleb Williams either.
I mean, I was not going to really bring up any topics about that game because I imagine it's just, oh, please let me make the team. Please, please, please. Like the backups. It's a guy who has made less than $1 million from the NFL, which is not possible, but sorry, I just couldn't think of a number.
It's God, just the worst stutter right there. And I'm going to say it again. It's a glorified walkthrough. That's all it is. Yeah. It's really to celebrate the Hall of Famers coming in. Shout out Andre Johnson.
I mean, what we could have done is actually just gone to Texans training camp and seen a better representation of what's going to happen this season. But
and fights.
We'll be able and fight. Oh, listen, that's the best part of training camp, though, is you see like guys hate each other, and then by the end of the season, they love each other.
They love each other,
which is the hope. So, okay, Commanders, a rebuilding era on top of a rebuilding era.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in Dan Quinn, which I wasn't going to call him Drain Quinn because he took like half the defense from the Cowboys. That's such a lame line. I don't want to say it. So that's me saying I'm not going to say it by saying it. They brought in Cliff Kingsbury for Jaden Daniels, who I think actually that will help him a lot. I may be a Cliff Kingsbury kind of hater, but I will respect his offensive and quarterback prowess. You have Dotson and McLaurin. Not McLaurin, McLaurin.
McLaurin, yeah.
Yeah, I watched F1 apparently. And then I don't think Eckler and Ertz are that great. I think Eckler, I drafted him in fantasy, and I still am mad at him for what he's done to me. Ertz kind of past his prime. They're going to be stronger. They're going to be stronger in every sense, but that doesn't mean they're going to be strong. They're just going to be, not the worst team we've ever watched. That's for their friends in New York.
I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I really do. My biggest gripe is what a fucking weird elbow. That thing sticks out. I feel like he's going to be cocking back for a pass, and someone's just going to be able to bat his elbow, and it's going to all just collapse. But I don't know why I have a soft spot for the Commanders of all teams, but I've never hated Washington. I've always kind of rooted for Washington in the NFC East.
That's because they're like the fat kid who runs a 30-minute mile, and by the time they get to 28 minutes, you're like, you know what, buddy, you did it. Good for you. They've been bad our entire life.
Yeah, they've been not great. Yeah, but I said they added Eckler, which is, I mean, he's an older running back. This we see this happen year in and year out. The funny part is on the flip side, you've got a team we'll talk about later adding an older running back, but it's the opposite. It's all height. While Eckler, I'm like, I think they take this year and just run him and they just squeeze as much as they can out of him, because I believe they have the Chargers. Is it, I think, running back coach or something? They've got or OC on staff, the former Chargers OC on staff, I believe, and I think he's just going to put Eckler in the best position they can to get as much out of him. But I've seen a bunch of back to Jaden Daniels real quick. I've seen a bunch of comps to Lamar Jackson. The comp is that he's a little slower, but a way better passer than Lamar was entering the league. Now Lamar is a way better passer than he has entered the league now. But that's what they're saying Jaden Daniels is similar to a Lamar Jackson that has a hell of an arm.
Again, bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, you've got the guy who can make quarterbacks happen. It seems like a perfect combo. I'm a believer in Jaden Daniels. I will follow him. And for the what was the Star Wars quote? I will follow your career with great hope or something.
We'll be watching your career with great interest.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. But yeah, I'm a believer, and I also like you said, I like the Commanders. I don't know, just something about them. They're buddies. I wish they were still the Washington football team, because that's a way cooler name than Commanders.
That's a way cooler name.
I can only, I don't have the power to change that at this point. All right, let's go to our favorite team.
Cowboys. Somehow the worst offseason in the NFL this year. They did nothing, literally nothing, besides bring in an old, beat to shit Zeke that they let walk a year ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. And they haven't even finished negotiations with Dak. They haven't finished CeeDee Lamb's holding out, and even if they pay those two guys next year, you have a big contract, a guy that's going to get paid maybe break the record for his position at getting paid, and that's Micah Parsons. You have to pay all three of them. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm saying this is Dak's last year. Just this is it. Like, go. We can't pay you anymore. Yeah, I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks to ever play the game. His numbers look nice, but he's always had one of the best offensive lines, always had weapons to throw to, and he has nothing to show for it. He has nothing to show for it.
The Dak experiment should have ended about 2 years ago.
I agree.
They should have just said, let's try again. This guy just isn't going to be the guy ever. He has weapons around him. He's not horrible. He's not the worst. I still think he's above average. I don't think he's the Dak that people think he is.
Yeah.
I also saw something about how either this year or next year, if they pay all three of those guys, that will be almost half their cap space. Which means you are spending almost half your cap on three dudes.
3 players.
One of which is Dak, which we've just talked about as maybe not worth it. I'm going to say Drain Quinn again because I wrote in my notes. Drain Quinn took a lot of that defense with him. So there were some defense. Again, they didn't do anything, which is crazy to me because Jerry Jones had a whole statement, I think, February and March, maybe January, where he's like, we're going to go get him. We're going to go get him. Obviously, they didn't do that because Jerry Jones is a liar.
They, in fact, did not go get him.
They did not, in fact, not go get him. They got 2 new O-line rookies at left tackle and center, but Tyler Guyton might not even start. So they've done nothing in that sense. They haven't done anything. They haven't gotten better. They may get worse somehow when it comes to their cap space, which is going to screw everything up. I'm a hater. I still think they'll probably come in second in the division. With that said, they won't win the wild. They won't get in the wild card.
Okay, spoiler alert. I have the Cowboys down for a wild card as one of my NFC wild cards because the NFC isn't great, and the Cowboys just always find a way to create some hype around them, to go on a little bit streak at the end, to hype up their fans going into the playoffs, just to get shit pumped and bounced. So I think it's just going to be more of the same this year, and hopefully, I don't care. I'm taking back my hopefully. Maybe they wake up and they make a couple personnel changes. Also, Mike McCarthy, just bad. I don't like him as a coach at all.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy's like the foil of Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniels. I didn't say that. I don't know why I left off his ass. I'm going to say that again so I can clip it. Mike McCarthy is the foil of Mike McDaniels, where one is innovative, he's changing the game, he has his own scheme, he's working hard to make Mike McDaniels ball. You have Mike McCarthy, who's also there and thinks he's really smart, but he's not. Which is really fun to watch as, again, a person who does not believe in the Cowboys.
All right, and then we have our consensus division winner, the Eagles. They're coming off a pretty bad ending to last year. I don't know if you saw, they ended the regular season 1-6.
Yeah. I mean, so Jalen Hurts shit the bed. I remember seeing like their O-line also wasn't great. They just fell apart at the end. I don't think that will happen again. I say as someone who's also a Jalen Hurts believer because he's from Houston, but also because I like his play style. I do wish him that he would once again squat 700 pounds, but he's apparently stopped doing that. Let's see. They recruited their Gannon in the aggregate after he left last year, which destroyed their secondary, and Dijon and Mitchell. And then Gardner also came in. So they've kind of recreated that. Their secondary was, I think, like the 28th in pass yards given up or some stat like that. It wasn't pass yards given up. It was some advanced stat. So they went from like 3rd to 28th in one entire season. It doesn't help at all. You have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith staying. Then you got Saquon. I cannot say his name for some reason. Saquon coming. Dallas Goedert is coming. They have a Kelsey replacement. It seems like they've made all the right moves. Saquon is there.
Well, hold on now. You just brought something up. You said Kelsey replacement.
Yeah.
You're not replacing Kelsey. That is a Hall of Famer offensive line, and that, more importantly than his play on the field, maybe the biggest locker room guy. That might be the biggest loss. They were losing an amazing offensive lineman, but they're losing, oh God, the heart, soul, guts, everything of the locker room and of the voice of the team and all of it. Jason Kelsey was a huge locker room guy. And with the way they ended their season last year, they need him. He's not coming out of retirement. In fact, I think they offered him they're in this talks about offering him a scouting coaching position or something like that. But it's a huge loss.
It'll be interesting to see if anyone steps up in that position. Because for the record, by replacement, I mean they have a center. Let me rephrase that. They have a guy who can play center. They don't have a Hall of Fame center or that guy with that kind of personality. They have a center.
Yeah. I think Barkley's going to be fine. I think he's going to be behind the best offensive line, even though there's some replacements in there. I think he's going to be behind the best offensive line he's seen in his pro career. And then, like you said, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those are Jalen Hurts. Those are amazing targets for him. Dallas Goedert as well. And then I was looking at the roster. John Ross! Didn't know he was an Eagle. That is a very, very quick receiver that was, I believe, in Cincinnati and then went down to the Cardinals. And I completely forgot that he ended up on the Eagles. I don't know if that's recent or a couple years ago, but I was scrolling their wide receiver depth and I was just like, John Ross, still in the league. Very fast dude.
That's the way to do it, buddy. Just never be the Hall of Famer, just get paid to be the veteran in the locker room. With that said, I believe in the Eagles. I think they'll win the division. I don't know how far they go in the playoffs. They might fall apart again. But with I don't think this division's the strongest. Eagles are relatively good. I think they'll probably pick up I was gonna say 12 games, but that means they might fall apart again the second half. So, but I'm interested to see if anyone steps up in the locker room. I want to believe it'll be Jalen Hurts, but I don't know if that's true.
I do think this is the Eagles' division to lose. If they go on another 1-6 trek, it might be the Cowboys' division, which is insane to say. But after what we just said about the Cowboys, but it is the Eagles' division to lose.
Would you like to go into the AFC now?
Yes. Where would you like to start? I'd say bottom of the barrel with the Patriots.
Yeah, start at the bottom. Would you like to read my notes on the Patriots? I will read them to you. It's three lines.
Go ahead.
Patriots lull, no Belichick. He's too busy in a chick. Plus young Drake May, Mac Jones 2.0, which may not be fair to Mac Jones or to Drake May, but it was a funny way to end that. So those were my entire notes on that team. I did not write a single thing. I did not care.
My first note was, so I did the NFC before I did the AFC, and my first line is, oh wait, Giants may not be the worst team in the NFL. Forgot about the Patriots. After that, Drake May. Good luck, dude. I hope you developed. I rooted for the Patriots for a long time because I'm a Brady guy. So I hope they can find some. It's weird to see the Patriots as a bad team. But I hope Drake May develops. I'd never root against quarterbacks that come into the league outside of the ones that come out of USC. Talk about that in a future podcast. My other thing that I had is Gerard Mayo may not have the respect of his players. He and Matthew Judon and him kind of had a conversation. And Matthew Judon, I don't know if you can't hear anything, but I don't know if Mayo told him to go or we're done talking or whatever, but it looks like Matthew Judon just walks away, and I'm just like, could you imagine a player walking away from Belichick like that? He'd be gone. He'd be gone so fast. Now, Gerard, he helped the Patriots win a Super Bowl. He is was a great linebacker. Not the greatest strong showing of team chemistry right there.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, this is the Patriots in disarray. They've lost the head guy. You can argue whether it was Brady or Belichick who made the Patriots. Well, he's a guy who helped make the Patriots, at least. He's gone. That experience is gone. The player respect, because you would come into the Patriots and you're like, I already know it's Belichick. I will respect him no matter what. I don't know if Mayo's going to get that respect. He clearly doesn't. He doesn't have a play from his players, maybe. At least from one guy. I'm excited to see. I mean, I think the Patriots are going to be they will be a shit show, a fun shit show where there's leaks every single day about something new happening. Whereas the Giants will probably keep it locked down, just be on the field problems. It seems like the Patriots are going to be off the field problems. They have a rookie QB who, I don't think it's anything special going on. Again, maybe I'm a Drake May hater, but I don't think there's anything special going on. The team doesn't look good at all. The first-year head coach going into that situation. With by the way, every Belichick guy has come out of the Belichick coaching tree. Just hasn't been worth it. So maybe Jordan Mayo will end up at Alabama as an analyst in 2 years, as they all did. But yeah, Patriots. Yeah.
One last note on Patriots compared to the Giants. One positive spin zone the Patriots have. You don't know how Drake May is going to turn out. He could turn out to be pretty good, and you're going to be in a better situation than the Giants are currently. So
it's the old separated 50-50.
Yeah.
You're either going to get a dead cat or, a cat.
All right, where do you want to go from here? You want to go Bills? You want to go Dolphins or Jets?
I think we'll go Bills next because I think we kind of have probably the same notes on them, and then we'll go Dolphins, Jets. We'll figure out which one we're going to go next. So Bills, not Jared Allen, Josh Allen, my boy. Mm-hmm. I'm so sad for what has happened to you. It is not your fault. That I think it's like a Family Guy clip where it's like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It actually may be from another movie that I'm now saying from The Dumbest Show Alive. It's not your fault. I want to tell that to Josh Allen. It's not your fault. What's about to happen is not your fault, buddy.
Well, they're kind of the opposite of the Eagles. Mm-hmm. They fired their OC and they ended up going on a 7-2 run at the end of the year. So mm-hmm. they had stuff to build on. Mm-hmm. Problem is they didn't have the most electric offseason. They lost their number one option. In fact, they at receiver, they only have one player that has caught a pass during the regular season from Josh Allen, and that's Khalil Shakir. Mm-hmm. That's the only player they currently have on the roster that has caught a ball from Josh Allen. And I think he threw like 4 interceptions in training camp, or like in a row earlier, which is either A, Bills, you're going to have a great defense, or holy shit, Josh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no. So their defense also looks horrible. Not horrible, but not great. Von Miller is like 35, 36 now. Didn't have a sack all last season. That's a guy.
That contract's looking bad.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is a guy. I think I'm gonna say he loves chickens because I remember a friend telling me that.
Chicken farm.
He went to Chicken Farm. Yeah, he loves chickens. Yes, because he did like something with chickens at A&M, but he should just go be with his chickens at this point. That's way too old to be on the defensive line at that point. You're not going to beat 300-pound guys anymore when you're at that age. It's just not possible after years of wear and tear. There's no one on the defense who comes off as electric. I don't see anything. What are you going to say?
Not even your boy out of Houston?
Okay, I'm gonna have to take it back, so I'm not gonna clip this. Ed, I'm so sorry, buddy. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. So, damn it, you've now stumped me because I forgot he was on that team because I was so ready to.
But the rest of the defense.
The rest of the defense. Sorry, Ed Oliver, buddy, you're good. Everyone else, you suck. I like Von Miller. Von Miller needs to go home. And there, like you said, there's no one. There's I think I even saw a stat. For the past couple of years, if you look at the wide receiver core outside of Stephon Diggs, it's nothing. There's nothing there.
Gabe Davis has 1 game or 2 games a year where he's the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game, and then just nothing burgers after that. I mean, they brought in Curtis Samuel, and they did use a second-round pick on Keon Coleman, who, outside of Josh Allen, is the only piece of fantasy I would probably pick up as Keon Coleman. But this is a big prove-it year for Josh Allen for me, to be honest. Like, we've been dancing about him being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he has been. But he doesn't really have anything to show for it. I mean, the highlight, I think, of his career is beating the Chiefs in the regular season. Not great.
The highlight of his career is getting to the playoffs a lot, and then losing to the Chiefs a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Bills, we speak your name. All right. Do you want to do Jets or Dolphins next, Brian?
You want to do your Dolphins or my Jets?
Let's do, because I have a thing on the Jets, and my Jets take is nothing to do with football whatsoever.
Okay.
Which is why I don't believe in them.
Let's do the Jets. Let's do the Jets.
Okay. Brian, picture this with me. Jordan, I'm sitting there writing my notes, and I go, objectively, the Jets are the best team in this entire division. All right, great defense, great offense, veteran quarterback. He's proven it. All right. I go, well, he's about 41. Maybe week 8 or 9, he'll be a little banged up. Doesn't want to really to play. He's a little upset. Maybe he needs to take week 2 off. And I go, wait a second. What's week 8 or 9, Brian? What can you tell me what event happens week 8 or 9? Actually, I think it's week 9. What event happens then?
Trade deadline?
Nope, the election. Now,
Oh,
Brian, let me remind you about one thing.
Oh, you said not football, and I just fucking forgot. I have a joke about Joel Embiid that I'll tell you that I thought about starting the podcast with, but no shot.
You gotta describe.
That's a little teaser, by the way.
Okay, perfect. It's like the one I sent you where I'm like, I can't say this.
Mm-hmm.
So in the polls recently, what has happened, and this is bringing politics and sports, we're polymerizing it again. RFK Jr. has fallen in the polls because now a lot of Democrats who are voting for RFK are going back to Kamala Harris. And so he's falling, then his polls are falling. Brian, week 9 happens. He's banged up. He's hurt. He's tired. He's 41. He doesn't really have anything to prove anymore. Robert Saleh is begging him to please stay. He sees his boy get murdered in the polls. Right? The brainworms are sad. RFK speaks like this still. What does Aaron Rodgers do? He goes on another retreat. All right? He needs a darkness retreat to remind himself who he is. What happens in the darkness retreat? He meets the Hat Man again. The guy he was seeing all throughout the preseason. The guy he was seeing all throughout this year. He had a bad ayahuasca trip. What happens? He starts throwing the ball to a receiver who's not there. Next thing you know, the Jets are crumbling. Their defense isn't good enough to stop the fact that the offense can't score. They have a good running back core, but at some point, you got to figure out, the quarterback is the guy. Can't just run the ball. And so Aaron Rodgers sees men who aren't there because his boy RFK, he's going to California every week because RFK's crying. All right. He's crying. Aaron wants to go hug him and comfort him. My take is the Jets look objectively the best thing on paper. My other take is Aaron Rodgers is a psycho at this point. That the election, coupled with the fact he's 41, I think we are in for a Jets breakdown. Not week 1 this time, maybe. Not week 1. But by week 9, week 10, we're going to see something else happen.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing is Aaron Rodgers' health. Mental and physical. If he can stay healthy, I think this is their division to win. I really do. That defense is phenomenal. They've got a lot of weapons. They were just missing quarterback play. And they've got a revamped offensive line. They had a lot of offensive line injuries last year, and they couldn't keep Zach Wilson, of all people, upright. But the offensive line is good on paper. Big problem. They have never played or practiced together.
And they're not going to
before this training camp. They have never, all 5 of them, played or practiced together at the same time. That's a problem.
They might not during training camp because they're all half of them are hurt.
Yeah, so they might enter the regular season with maybe a couple practices under their belt where they're all healthy. On paper, Super Bowl contender. Really are. Great defense, veteran quarterback that knows how to play, knows how to be clutch, has weapons around him, great running back core, great offensive line. This is their division to win, but this is also a ticking time bomb. There's a lot of personality on this, both on offense and defense. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of big personalities on this. It just takes one little match to make this thing light up.
And again, we can also have a week 1 injury crisis again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dolphins. Again, my criteria has nothing to do with football.
Okay.
I've gone non. So it actually has to do with football, the other kind. Let me take you to the year 2013, the year of our Lord, 2013-2014. Liverpool Football Club, killing it. Amazing. They're second in the league. They're title contenders for the first time in years. They could win the Premier League for the first time. How do they do it? A great offense. I mean, you have Luis Suarez, you have Daniel Sturridge, you have Raheem Sterling. They're scoring at will. What's behind them? The worst possible defense you could have ever seen. What was their strategy the entire time? Play quickly, score the ball, and just hope you score more than your opponent. That is the Dolphins this year. All right, weak offensive line, nothing on defense. You're gonna have Tua throwing quick balls quickly because you have Tyreek, you have Jalen Waddle, you have It's probably someone else. I don't know.
Malik Washington is their
Malik
draft
Washington.
pick.
There we go. That's in my notes.
He's a
Yes.
small, speedy guy. Basically,
Small, speedy guy.
Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Yeah.
Catches a lot of balls and fucking quick.
They're going to all catch quickly, run. They're going to score more than their opponents. That is their entire strategy this year. That is my bet on you. That's my bet. All right. And that's why I think they're going to win the division after Aaron Rodgers has to go to California every week for RFK Jr.
Hypothetically, I'm taking every Dolphins over this year.
Oh, yeah. No, again, that's...
Unless they play in a cold state in November or December or January.
Yeah, they have to rack up enough wins by November to where... I didn't look at their schedule. They have to rack up enough wins by when it gets cold outside. If they have to go to Buffalo in November, December, they just have to hope. They have to take that one on the chin. Just don't play Tua.
How do we feel? Speaking of, how do we feel about Tua's contract? Four for $212 million, 167 of it guaranteed.
I love Tua. I can't reasonably come on here after my Joe Burrow take, where I was like, Joe, stay healthy and then you'll earn your contract.
Mm-hmm.
Tua, I mean, to be fair, there's 1 year where his brain got RFK Jr. But Tua, I understand. I want more results. I understand maybe it's not all your fault, but I need results for that kind of contract.
That's fair. All right, we're at 51 right now.
51 minutes.
Let's do my little wild card real quick that I promised, and then we'll start wrapping it up.
This will be our longest episode. Sorry if you're still here. Thank you. If you're not,
thank you.
You're not going to hear this.
All right, NFC wild card. My 3 picks are the Bears because I think they really do have the potential to be dangerous. They have a top 5 defense. They loaded up on weapons for an incoming Caleb Williams, who, as much as it painstakingly hurts me to admit, probably is going to be good in the NFL. He's one of the best, since Andrew Luck, NFL-ready prospects to come out that consensus agree that he's going to prosper, and it hurts me that he's a USC product. More on that when we get to the other divisions.
I mean, if he's an Andrew Luck guy, he'll be gone in 7 years, so
true.
Real win for you.
Cowboys, because the NFC is not great, and for some reason they just always wiggle their way in. And then Packers. I think we might have 3 teams representing the NFC North in the playoffs this year, and I've got 3 fringe teams, and that's the Rams. Matthew Stafford's really good. I love Matthew Stafford because for years and years and years, I would say Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. He's just in Detroit for now. And people would laugh at me and go, ha, 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 ha. And then he moves teams 1 year and wins the Super Bowl. And I go, Hall of Famer. Saints, because Saints are similar to the Cowboys. They always kind of find themselves in the mix, at least in the past decade and a half. I like their defense. They still have weapons. Not the biggest Derek Carr guy, but he's serviceable. I think they went the lame route last year and didn't start Jameis Winston, who is the most fun quarterback of all time, because there's going to be points everywhere. He's either going to throw 70-yard missiles or throw pick sixes. The first 30 for 30 season is beautiful work of art. And then my last fringe team is Seahawks. I tried to get 3 fringe teams for both divisions or conferences, and I was just like, I guess Seahawks just because there's no one else. For the AFC, my wild cards are Bengals. I think it's the Ravens division, so I think the Bengals are good enough to get a spot. Colts, just because, I mean, they also play the AFC South teams. I think the Colts and Texans are going to beat up on the Jaguars and the Titans this year. And the Colts are a good team. They've got a good defense. They've got a lot of decent weapons. Like, no one's like a superstar, but they're all very serviceable. And I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a problem. I think people count them out because he got hurt early. So last year he scored twice on us in, I think, 1 minute and 40 seconds or something like that. And people forget that he's a monster. And I think if he stays healthy, the Colts could get a wild spot, or at least compete for the division for us. And then the other AFC wild card spot is the Dolphins. I think they're going to be like, oh man, if the Dolphins played in any other division besides the East because of the Jets or the West because of the Chiefs, they're going to have the third best record, but they're going to be a wild card team. This is what I'm trying to say. The three fringe teams is Browns and Steelers, so I think there's a small possibility that the three wild card spots and all four AFC North teams make the playoffs. That would be fucking crazy. That's because the Steelers, the Browns and Steelers both boasts a lot of weapons on offense, great defenses, like I'd put them top 10 defenses. Their biggest question is going to be quarterback play, and we'll get into that when we break down their division too. And then the Bills. The Bills are also on the fringe. You can't count out Josh Allen. As much as we kind of shit on the Bills, you can't count out Josh Allen.
So, great picks. I wrote my picks last week, so I have nothing behind them. I forgot the reason I wrote them. For NFC, I have Rams, Packers, Bears. Seems right at the time. We'll see what happens with that. AFC, I have Jacksonville, Cincy, and the Colts. And then I had Buffalo as and then I had Pittsburgh as a. So either of those could be a thing. I was not very confident in my picks last week. But all right, we are almost at an hour, so we probably should end this very quickly because this will be the longest we've ever gone. Brian, where can the people find you?
People can find me everywhere on all social medias at Oric Polaris and twitch.tv/Oric Polaris.
Perfect. If you're still listening, which, by the way, thank you, you can just don't find me anywhere. Follow Moonstamp, and you'll see all the things I post all the time.
Real quick. Divisions next week. Which two?
Oh, shit. North. Let's do North.
North. Okay, we'll do the North. Those might be the most fun divisions to talk about and to watch this year. Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk about the Vikings and my JJ McCarthy takes. So we're going to bring McCarthyism back, Betty, except this time it's purple.
Jesus. All right, that's it. That's the joke. That's the end.
All right, goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.